I've worked as an appointment setter for Publishing.com, Ashton Hall, and Viral Coach with Daniel Isles. I got every single one of those roles without much experience, without knowing anyone, and without doing what everyone else was doing to apply. Since then, I've been on the other side. I've hired around 75 to 100 setters across multiple offers and managed teams doing multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. And what I've seen from both sides is that getting a setting role and actually being good at setting are two completely different skills. Most people trying to break in right now are applying in the wrong places, the wrong way, it's the wrong offers, and they don't even know it. And the wrong offer is just as bad as no offer, because you can be a great setter and still be making 3K a month if the offer doesn't have the lead volume, the package that you're selling isn't high enough, or the close rate just isn't paying you what you're actually worth. And the first mistake starts even before they've sent a single message. The default move for almost everyone trying to break into setting is LinkedIn, Indeed, and Facebook. And I honestly get why, because when you search, it feels like you're being productive. But the high ticket online coaching world, where the real commission checks are, doesn't hire through any of those platforms. The Facebook groups that do promise placements and training want $3,000 just to get you in the door with no guarantee. Offer owners in this space post in private communities, school groups, WhatsApp channels, and Instagram. They hire through people that they already know or people that come through recommended, and the listings that come up on certain job boards that you're looking at come up as mostly traps. So when I first got into high ticket sales, I was looking up high ticket sales jobs on Facebook. And back then it was way more common than it is now to find jobs on Facebook. It was kind of the method. And what ended up happening is I applied to a whole bunch of roles, but what I didn't realize is that a lot of the roles on Facebooks are actually people trying to sell you a course or a program. So I ended up falling into that trap. So next thing you know, I had a setter call me. I thought it was the recruiter. And the next thing you know, they were just preparing me for the interview. In reality, they were just qualifying me. Next thing you know, on that call, I ended up realizing what it actually was, and I ended up hanging up the phone. I realized that it wasn't a job interview, but it was really just for them to place me onto an offer and pretty much just take my money and not do anything with it. So before you go anywhere else, you need to be able to tell a real offer from a fake one, because I'm telling you right now, you can waste months jumping on calls with the wrong people. So when you're looking for roles, here's some green flags. They can show you how much volume the offer is bringing in, not just screenshots, but they actually share the screen, real commission checks that you can verify from other setters on that offer, existing setters that you can speak to before actually accepting the job, the commission structure in writing before you start dialing for the offer, clear KPIs, and a real training process from day one. Now here's some red flags to look for when you are applying to roles. So number one, they're selling the dream harder than explaining the work. They keep saying, oh, we're about to launch, with no real lead flow yet. They're very vague with the compensation and how much money you can make. They'll say, oh yeah, you'll make great money here, but they never really give you a number. Or better yet, they give you numbers, but then when you actually do the math, it doesn't add up at all. When they told you can make 8K a month. Or better yet, they tell you that you can make 10K a month, but when you actually do the math, all of the setters are making maximum $2,000 a month. They want you to pay for training before placement. Or one of the last ones is that there's no real existing setters you can actually speak to. And again, before you commit to anything, do the math. Ask for the average close rate. Ask how many leads are coming in per month. How many calls you can book per day. What's the average cash collected per deal? What's the average cash collected per close? 3% of $8,000, 30 sets a month at an 85% show rate. What does that actually work out to? If they can't answer these questions clearly, you already have your answer. And this is the thing that nobody talks about. You can be the best setter in the entire world and still be limited just because the offer has no real lead flow or the packages that you're selling just simply aren't high enough. The offer is everything. I've seen setters that are complete trash making 6 to 10K a month. Your skill has a ceiling if the offer is bad. So typically you want to look for roles that are doing 6 figures a month, anywhere between that's as low as $100,000 a month, as high as $999,000 a month. So the sweet spot is anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000 a month. That's typically what offer is doing in the high ticket sales space. Anything doing above $500,000 or more is considered to be a unicorn offer. And if you can get on a unicorn offer, you are set. I got on Publishing.com a couple years ago where they were doing $8 million a month. That was Hormozi's biggest portfolio company. Another thing you want to look for, not just how much cash collected that the offers bring in, but are they actually fulfilling on what they're marketing to the public? If they have a high refund rate, I'm telling you right now, the offer is destined to shut down by the FTC. Make sure that the offer is delivering and fulfilling upon what they're saying, because if they have a high refund rate and they're not actually getting results, that's not only going to hurt the company, but it's also going to hurt yourself as well, because you won't have the conviction to sell for that company. And if you don't have the conviction, as we all know, conviction is the single most important thing you need to have when on an offer. And if you don't have that, you're not going to make that much money. Another thing too is you want to make sure that, and typically a setter gets paid on a base and when the deal closes. Now, I'd honestly get on an offer that has a base plus pays me a commission when the deal closes, only if the offer is doing less cash collected per month. So that's anywhere below $200,000 a month, and they don't have a high ceiling for growth or commissions. The only reason why I say that is because it's just a safety net to know, okay, I'm making this amount every single month. The more money that the offer is making, you typically get more of a base, but if they don't have a base, that's fine. At least you'll know that there's a consistent amount of lead flow coming in every single month, which means there's more money to be made for you. The real roles get posted somewhere almost nobody in the space thinks to look. Instagram is where almost every high ticket coaching and e-learning offer owner lives. And if you know what to look for, you can find legitimate offers, fully vet them, and reach out in a way that actually gets a response. Most people either don't think to use this at all or send a generic DM thinking that they'll get a response. So when you find someone, I want you to look for 3 things. Number 1, check if they're a manager, a coach, or an offer owner. Because when you reach out to a manager or a coach, they're usually always hiring because they're running teams. At least the managers are. The coaches are usually coaching these teams. And they can usually find out if the offer owner or if that team needs more setters. And when I say coach, I mean a sales coach. And number 3, if you're messaging an offer owner, check if they have real clients and testimonials on their Instagram page. Because a page full of motivational quotes and no social proof is a huge red flag. Now, before you DM anyone, look at your own profile first. If your Instagram looks like a personal page where you're doing inappropriate stuff, or you're doing things that you wouldn't want your future boss to look at, you're not going to get a response. First impression is everything, and your profile is your first impression, and it needs to make it immediately clear as to who you are, what you do, and that you're someone worth taking seriously. But there is a second platform that almost nobody's using in this space to get roles. And it's where some of the best roles are being posted every single day. School is where a massive chunk of online coaching and the high ticket education world lives right now. And inside certain communities, including mine, offer owners and managers post roles directly to members with no middleman and no algorithm filtering out your application before anyone even sees it. My free school community has weekly coaching calls from me on how to land roles. But if you're looking to land your setting role as soon as possible, I have an exclusive community where I place my students on high paying jobs, guaranteed. The link is in the description. Join now while you're watching, because by the end of this video, you're going to want to start applying and you'll want to be in there when the next setting role drops. Okay, so now you're on school. Here's how you find communities that actually post jobs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go in the search bar, just search up setter or setting community. And then all you'll want to do is just, this one's $20 a month, so we don't want to go there. So this one right here, it says land top setter opportunities with 6, 7, and 8 figure online businesses. While becoming the top setter, they can't afford to lose. So obviously here they have opportunities. Okay, so that seems decent. So if you guys just keep scrolling, there's obviously my community as well, 1,300 members during the time of this recording. So we obviously do placement as well, like I said, and also in my exclusive community, it's you get guaranteed placement. I've placed students on offers within literally just a week or two on offers like Alex Eubanks, Stamar with Above the Par, where they're doing like $2 million a month, or even PB trading. And sometimes I'll even bring on students to some of the offers that I'm managing. So there you go, short and simple, straight to the point. This one here as well. This is appointmentsetting.com. This is a huge appointment setting community. So all they do is just job posts for DM setters primarily. As you guys can see there, top 1% DM setters and VAs. So that's pretty much it. It's very short and simple. The people posting good setting rules are not on LinkedIn or Indeed. And the Facebook groups that do have opportunities for you are just going to charge you an arm and a leg just for you to get access to them. The real ones are on Instagram and school, like I just showed you. And if you're spending your time anywhere else looking for jobs, you're honestly just wasting your time. One more thing, when you are applying to these roles, you can kind of lose track, so make sure that you build a follow-up tracker inside of Google Sheets. If you're serious, you're reaching out to multiple offers at the same time, and you need to be able to track every single one. You need to be tracking if they responded back to you, if they told you to send a Loom video, if you got an interview for that offer, if they left you undelivered. Track every single thing. Treat this like a pipeline, because that's exactly what it is. You could be in the exact right place, reaching out to the right offer, and still get ignored, because how you apply is what kills most people. Almost everyone applying for a setting role sends some form of version of this. Hey, I saw that you're looking for setters. I'm interested. Can you tell me more about the offer? Or here's one that I get a lot on Instagram, and I can even show you some screenshots as well. Here's what they say. They'll just send a Loom to me with no context at all. Or they'll give me a little bit of background and then send the Loom. I can't stand when people do that, because it's like, what are you sending me a Loom for? What offer are you applying for? Because I'm someone who manages multiple different offers. So if you just send me a Loom with no context behind that at all, I am not gonna watch that. And what this means is it's signaling to me and other offer owners, if you are sending these to offer owners, that you haven't done research about the offer at all. So what you need to do is record a 2 to 3 minute Loom video. And as you're sending that Loom video, give some context as to who you are, what offer you're applying for, and where you saw that offer. Now, here's what needs to be inside the Loom video. You want to pattern interrupt immediately. So don't open the Loom video with, hey, my name is. You want to open up to something that's going to catch their attention. So instead, open up with something specific about the offer that proves that you actually did your research and that you're paying attention. You want to come off as different, because what you have to do is think like a manager who is reviewing hundreds of Looms every single day. And if you don't stand out, your Loom's going to get pushed aside with all the hundreds of other Looms that they're getting. You want to show energy and presence from the first 10 seconds of that Loom video, because this offer owner or manager is deciding within the first 10 seconds if they want you representing their brand on these calls. So make them feel it. You want to mention one specific thing that you researched, something like their VSL, a client result that they posted, something from their content. You want to have that actually shown inside the Loom video so that way you catch them off guard, because specificity is the differentiator here. You want to make a clear statement of who you are and what you bring to the table. Show that you're coachable and that you're hungry, not desperation, because that's just going to repel them away from you. And there's a huge difference, and offer owners can feel that. What I used to say all the time in my Loom videos is, I'm hungry and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make the company reach their goals and also help me reach my goals. The reason why I said this is because I came from a sports background, which usually helps you 10 times. And if you haven't played sports, that's fine. Just say something that you've done as an extracurricular activity and something that we used to do and something in football and basketball. And there's a 3-letter acronym that we used to use all the time in basketball and football. It's WIT. It stands for whatever it takes. So that means that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the job done. It doesn't matter if I'm doing $100, if I'm doing $1,000. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help the company reach their goals. And even though I know that, hey, they're not going to make me do $1,000 because, it's not going to get to that point, but I'm just showcasing, hey, I'm literally willing to lay my life on the line or run through a wall for you, because that's how hungry I am for this role. And if you don't choose me, that's fine. That's your loss. I'm detached, but all I'm going to say is you're losing money without having me on your offer. And that's what I used to do every single time, which is why I pretty much had like a 99% close rate when it came to landing roles. So if you want to see a live example of my Looms, here's what it looks like. Hey, how's it going? My name is Aaron Thomas and I'm from California, and I am a perfect fit for this role. And the reason being is because I'm willing to do whatever it takes to see myself grow and the company grow. I'm very coachable, very, very, very coachable. I have a background of 12 years of playing sports, so I know what it takes for me to get to that next level and to help the company or the team grow. I've been on 2 offers for the past 2 years, right? I've been in sales for a total of 2 years now. My first offer was on a real estate marketing agency offer, or I was a full cycle closer. I was cold calling 100 to 200 real estate agents per day, calling salespeople, getting told no and whatnot, which built up the resilience in me. I'm very grateful for that. In my previous offer, I was a setter lead, and I just got promoted to closer right before our offer shut down on last Friday. And I have all of the company setter records for appointment setter. I have the most cash collected in a month and ever on that company, on that offer, the highest set show rate and the highest set close rate. And I'm just simply willing to do whatever it takes. I constantly invest into myself. I've gone through NEPQ 2.0 by Jeremy Minor, gone through Cardone University. I had a Grant Cardone coach me up on that. And now I am currently in one-on-one coaching with Alex Beck and JJ, who are both sales reps for Alex Hormozi and Iman Ghazi. So I'm a perfect fit for this role because I'm willing to do whatever it takes and see myself grow and the company reach the targets. Now, when I'm hiring for one of my offers and a Loom comes in, I decide within the first 30 seconds about whether or not if I want to continue watching that Loom or just skip past it and go on to the next one. The energy, the pattern interrupt, and the specificity decide whether or not I'm watching the whole Loom or if I'm going past that, or if I'm pushing it to the side. I want you to focus on one step at a time in the job application process. Once you have a Loom, focus on getting them to watch the full Loom so that way you can get on the interview. Now, after you sing your Loom, almost nobody ever follows up. And this is a massive mistake because this is a sales job. Following up is the job, and offer owners know that. Some of them will even leave you on red on purpose just to see what you do next. The candidate that doesn't follow up after sending the Loom video in just failed the first test without even knowing it. Follow up after submitting your Loom to confirm that they got it and what the next steps are. And if there's no response, follow up every single day. Keep it short, direct, no desperation until you hear back from them. And you always want to send an email before the interview and after the interview. So there was a setter that sent me this Loom. I watched it. It was decent, but I didn't move forward with him for other reasons. But I kid you not, for 2 months straight, this setter literally followed up with me every single day, if not every other day, asking me, hey, is there any spots that opened up? What can I do to get on the offer? They'll send really tailored and customized messages to me to let them know that, hey, I'm thinking about this offer. I want to get on this offer. And what this made me realize is, hey, if they're doing this to me to get on the roll, imagine what they're going to do with the leads that I give them. Their follow-up game is insane. So 2 months later, I ended up hiring him on the offer. Most people apply for a sales role like they're submitting a form and just hope and pray for the best. And the best candidates that actually get hired treat this like a sales process, because that's exactly what this is. So before you even get on an interview, always send an email. And here's an email that I used to send every single time that got a response, pretty much 90% of the time before the interview even happened. Almost nobody does this, and this immediately signals to the offer owner or the manager, hey, this guy's different. Then on the actual interview, watch their VSL before you hop on, understand exactly who their client avatar is and who you're selling to, and come in knowing the actual offer. Because the second you get on that call and you ask, hey, so what do you guys do? You're done. Sometimes in the interview, they'll even test you to see if you did your research. And if you haven't done your research, you're done. What they're actually evaluating has nothing to do with the amount of experience that you have. It's confidence, being detached, coachability, and hunger. Dress for the role, even on Zoom. And I forgot to mention this as well in the Loom video. When you're making Loom videos, please make sure that you're dressing the part. Wear something like a quarter zip or like a polo or a nice button up. And make sure that you have a nice background. Because if you don't have a nice background or you're not dressed in the part, they're not even going to consider you and they're going to skip past your Loom. You have to understand that your first impression is everything. Your image is everything. That's essentially your marketing. No one's even going to listen to a word that you have to say if you don't look the part. Now, when you're on the interview, you always want to ask questions whenever they say, hey, do you have any questions for me? Ask them questions like, hey, so what does the average show rate look like? What are the top setters doing differently that the bottom setters aren't? What makes someone a top setter? How quickly can I get ramped up on this offer? What does success look like within the first 30 days of being here? What's the close rate? How many leads are coming in per day, per week, per month? What's the AOV, which means average order value, which just really means what's the average cash collected? And when the call is over, send a follow-up email. Something like this is being convicted within myself and knowing that no matter what happens, I'm good, being detached, and my hunger. Now, these 3 things indicate one thing. It's my energy. And when I have an energy of, hey, I'm confident within myself, I know that regardless of what happens, I'm gonna be okay, whether I get this role or not, that pulls people in and then makes someone to figure out who I am even more. Because when you're so convicted within yourself to know that, hey, whatever it is, I'm gonna get the job done and I'll do whatever it takes, people love that energy. And in their mind, they're like, hey, who is this guy? I gotta have him on my offer. Now, most people watching this are gonna go back to doing what they've been doing, scrolling the same groups, sending the same generic messages on Instagram, and wondering why nothing is changing. The ones who actually take my advice on what's in this video are gonna get roles within the next 2 to 4 weeks. My free school community is where you get weekly coaching calls from me on how to land roles, and you're around other top setters that are actually making money. If you're serious about getting your role, this is where you need to be right now. The link is in the description. And if you want to build a skill that's impossible to pass over once you're in front of an offer owner or a manager, I put together a 3-hour free training covering their full appointment setting process from A to Z. The exact call framework, the mental models, the mindset, how to have a flawless discovery, and what separates a setter making $3,000 a month from the one making 20. It should be popping up on the screen right now.